So I was very much part of the Labor Party growing up. That was the obvious thing to vote for. And then as I became a young adult, the Labor Party at that point was transitioning from socialism to being the party of peace, focused precisely on this equation of land for peace. And it was a very compelling idea, because the idea was that there is a path to peace for Israel, and it's very simple. All that Israel has to do is hand over lands acquired as a result of the Six-Day War, and there will be peace. And I became a voter in the 90s. I voted for Rabin. I voted for Barak. I was like so many of the peace camp, euphoric in the 90s. It was a general decade of end of history, of euphoria. We're putting all these old issues behind. And this was really the decade of the land for peace. Not only have we made peace with Egypt based on this formula, we were now negotiating with Syria over the Golan Heights, and we signed another peace agreement with Jordan when Jordan gave up its territorial claim to the West Bank. And then we negotiated directly with the Palestine Liberation Organization, the PLO, over the future of the West Bank and Gaza. And like many Israelis, I followed with so much excitement and joy when Ehud Barak goes to Camp David. And Camp David is already symbolic. This is when peace was negotiated with Egypt over kind of land for peace. So Ehud Barak puts this proposal on the table. People forget by now how audacious and far-reaching it was. For the Palestinians to have a fully sovereign state in the West Bank, in Gaza, end of the occupation, the Israeli military retreats. There were going to be no settlements in that state. Settlements were going to be dismantled or exchanged for equivalent land. The capital was going to be in Jerusalem, including holy sites in East Jerusalem. Essentially, check, check, check. All that the Palestinians had to do was say, yes. And Arafat walks away. And he walks away, and not only does he walk away to no criticism from his people. There's not even a single Palestinian writing an op-ed in a British paper saying, are you nuts? Go back to that negotiating room and get us the state for which we've been fighting, that we've been longing for so long. So he walks away. He's not criticized for walking away. He was actually criticized heavily for daring to negotiate, but not for walking away. And what follows is this massive campaign of violence that before October 7th was the darkest time to live in Israel.
You're talking about the Second Intifada.
Yes, the very much misnamed the Second Intifada. People think it's kind of this shaking off. It was a campaign of brutal massacres in our streets, weeks after the Palestinians could have had everything